In this Studio 5 special, we turn the pages of history to a passionate preacher and a fearless warrior against slavery. Ethan Hawke becomes John Brown in The Good Lord Bird. And welcome to Studio 5. We've got a special report taking a look at the very real life of a man who fought to end slavery through the fictional book turned Showtime series, The Good Lord Bird. Actor Ethan Hawke, Daveed Diggs, Joshua Caleb Johnson, and author James Mcbride are all here with us. The Good Lord Bird is an award-winning novel by James Mcbride. In it, a young slave, Henry Shackelford, unites with a preacher and abolitionist, John Brown, who is on a mission to end slavery, even if it means violence. Ethan Hawke brings this story to life as the star and executive producer in the new Showtime miniseries. He plays John Brown. And Joshua Caleb Johnson plays the young Henry Shackelford, who's also called Onion. We're talking to both in this Studio 5 first look at The Good Lord Bird.
The winds have changed and the voice of our Redeemer is becoming clear. Onion, would you get us a pen and an inkwell? Those of you who want to continue on with me, it's time to sign the declaration. The Lord came to me last night, boys. He showed me the path to victory. While you men slept, he whispered in my ear the battle plan. We are to light the fuse that will start a great war to end slavery.
This role, I think it's been described as your best. Would you agree?
It's certainly the most challenging.
My name is John Brown, and I am here to defeat slavery.
It was very important to me. I've never felt challenged. It used everything that I've ever, all the learning that I've accumulated in my life was required here.
I'm asking for men. Please, white folks, black folks. Do you have a fire in your heart for justice?
What was it about him that attracted you so?
The courage of his convictions. I was taught the Sermon on the Mount as a young boy, and I take that really seriously. But John Brown saw a broken society, and he didn't accept it. And he decided that if the culture was insane, that it was all right for them to call him insane, because sanity would look crazy to an insane society.
They say I'm a criminal. They say I am insane.
John Brown weren't normal, but I was gonna stick by the captain, same as he always stuck by me. I'm a messenger, sent here by John Brown.
What you know about John Brown?
He just murdered two fellas about 5 miles up from here.
White fellas?
Joshua, you bring a character known in the series as Onion to life. What did you think of him? Describe him to me.
John Brown's coming to free all the slaves.
You best watch your words.
Yeah.
Onion's a really complex and weird character in a way that was just, I was immediately drawn to him just because as an actor, I want to be able to break, a character down to the itty bitty tiniest parts of his personality.
I'm just telling you what the old man said.
You're just a messenger, ain't you?
Onion's just such, a smart, witty, fun character, and I couldn't wait to bring him to life on the big screen.
Truth be told, I ain't seen a person murdered till I met you.
I would stay off that subject entirely.
Did you see any of yourself in him?
Oh yes, most definitely. As an African-American, like Onion, being lighter skinned than a lot of other people, there's been times where you're in between. You don't really know, some African-Americans don't really fully take you on, and then some white people don't really take you on because you're on the in-between of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And so I could kind of feel the hurt a lot of times that Onion went.
Whatever he believed, he believed. Didn't matter if it was true or not.
Ethan, can you talk about the faith of John Brown? I mean, how important was that?
You can't talk about John Brown without talking about faith.
God whispered in my ear, start a war that will end slavery.
The great value of it is because he could speak as a Christian, he really awakened a lot of the Christian minds of white America. And he shamed a lot of white America, in the North particularly, to do something about what they saw as injustice. He often would blame the North more than the South because the North had the audacity to say it was wrong and the cowardness to do nothing about it. And it really upset him. And it was his faith that spoke to others. You know, that's how he changed the minds of white America.
Oh, this is a bold and outrageous plan. I mean that in a good way. I'm very excited. Let's do it.
And the Good Lord Bird miniseries starring Ethan Hawke premieres October 4th on Showtime. I enjoy this story immensely, but I do caution you, there is adult language and violence. Coming up. He brought two historical figures to life in the hit Broadway musical Hamilton. And now Daveed Diggs is Frederick Douglass. He joins us next.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug-of-war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
It's what starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 9:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
There are a few historical figures in the fictional tale The Good Lord Bird, like John Brown, Harriet Tubman, and Frederick Douglass. And it's actor Daveed Diggs, who you may know from the Broadway masterpiece Hamilton, who plays Douglass. Take a look at him at work and you'll see why he is surely a bright spot in this production, filmed in Virginia.
Search the world where you will. Roam through all the monarchies and despotisms of the old world. Travel through South America. Search out every abuse, and when you have found the last, lay your facts by the side of the everyday practices of this nation. And you will say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without a rival.
Daveed, how does your portrayal of Frederick Douglass in this series compare to any thoughts you may have had of him throughout history?
The great joy of this, of getting to do this version of Frederick Douglass, and the reason I said yes to it is because the Douglass that we meet in Mcbride's novel is flawed. We're never allowed to think of Frederick Douglass as flawed.
Tell me, how many are in his army?
10, I guess.
10?
10.
You counted 10. That's not even a dozen.
It says you can be a brilliant person and a flawed person. Because that's what being a person is. So getting to figure out how to play Douglass through that lens was really wonderful and gave me an even greater appreciation.
Stop it! Go!
Had you read McBride's book before coming to the project?
So Ethan gave me Mcbride's book after he came and saw a play I was in, and I read it and couldn't put it down and texted him immediately. It was like, what do I have to do? What do you need? If I'm ever gonna play another historic figure, this is the way I want to do it.
We know you for great roles, bringing historical figures to life, and of course, can't see you without mentioning Hamilton.
Taking this horse down the veins, taking red coats, whether he blood stains. And I'm never gonna stop until I make him jump over and I'm the remains.
What drives you to historical figures?
The project, I'm not particularly drawn to historical figures. I am not a history buff. I don't explore those things, but they have happened to come my way now in two pretty significant ways. My process is really about story. It's about what does this character do for the story at large? That's my job in the course of making a piece of art, right? As an actor. And so getting to look at these historical figures as what are the useful bits of information about them that really contribute to the story we're trying to tell is really fun, and it allows me to do things with them that we don't often get to see done with them.
What lessons do you take away from this project? What did you learn that you didn't know?
The thing for me that I found really striking after watching it all was that this totally incredible thing happened at Harper's Ferry with very few people. It really brought the country to its knees and precipitated the Civil War. There's no Civil War without this raid on Harper's Ferry. And I had never heard about it until I read The Good Lord Bird. And the interesting thing that brings up is why. The things that are omitted are intentional. And so when I start letting my wheels spin on why I had never heard this story, well, a small amount of people able to sort of precipitate an incredible amount of change in this country, who were all people of faith who were fighting to abolish slavery. And then I look around at the situation we're in right now and where we are, it's not actually that surprising that was hidden from me.
What do you think about the timing of the release of this project?
We always need stories like this. We always, James's writing is always, I find, what we need, to be able to laugh and reflect on our condition, and that's what he's really brilliant at. But this story right now, because it is about changing the course of history, because it is about what are you willing to do for the things you believe. These are questions that we're all being confronted with right now in the wake of a renewed energy for the Black Lives Matter movement, in the wake of the murder of Black people by police officers, and being confronted with the American condition that I think it is a good time to be considering all of these things.
If you're looking for more from actor Daveed Diggs, we have some great news for you. He is joining Ariel and her friends under the sea for Disney's live-action adaptation of The Little Mermaid. As we prepare to take a quick break, it is now time to say it in pictures. Here's this week's Studio 5 Snapshot, Good Lord Bird edition.
In this Showtime limited series, Ethan Hawke is abolitionist John Brown, and Joshua Caleb Johnson is alongside him as Onion, a fictional enslaved boy who becomes a member of Brown's army of abolitionist soldiers. And he finds himself at the center of the 1859 raid at Harper's Ferry. These are just a few of the images from the series filmed in Virginia. And they're this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Moments away.
John Brown is the greatest abolitionist that started the Civil War.
Sitting down with the author of The Good Lord Bird, James Mcbride, joins us in Studio 5.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy?
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain, get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Welcome back to this Studio 5 special report. We're continuing our extensive look at the Showtime miniseries, The Good Lord Bird. And before it was a miniseries, it was an award-winning book by author, musician, and screenwriter James Mcbride. He's this week's Studio 5 Sit Down.
Much of color life was an act. And the Negroes that did what they was told and kept their mouth shut lived the longest. Fact is, after a while, the thought of going back to Dutchess and being sold down the river to New Orleans grew less sweet.
Have you bled yet? What gave birth to this story for you? I mean, was there a Mr. Brown appeal? What was it that gave birth to this story in you?
Well, I mean, I'd been doing some research on Harriet Tubman. I drove over to Harper's Ferry and I became fascinated with his story.
Tell me about the faith in him. I mean, because obviously reading the book and seeing the film, faith in scripture played a big role in his life.
We're all for your war on slavery, but what's your specific plan? Oh, that's a very, very good question. That's a good question.
If John Brown hadn't been a religious man, he would have never been the John Brown that we know and we're talking about today. He knew more about the Bible than most ministers did. He was a Calvinist, which is interesting because Calvinists have a philosophy of, God has given me this mandate to do X, Y, and Z.
It will be a war between the North and the South. Both are guilty. Both must share the suffering and the sacrifice.
As a religious man, he felt that slavery was against God. And he felt driven to help abolish slavery. And he was also a man of action. He felt that the Bible was a book of action, not words.
God will equalize the pain, grief, and sorrow will visit every home in these alleged United States.
The bill is overdue. It's time for this country to pay.
John Brown was profoundly religious, and I think that's one reason why he was treated so poorly over the years, because people really didn't understand him. They didn't really understand that he was driven by a kind of religious zealotry that powered him tremendously. He's a man who felt he spoke to God directly and that God spoke to him directly.
Did your Lord give you details? Like a time and a place? He gave me an exact time, an exact place.
He had a purpose behind his movement. and he died. You know, he died. He was hung. But the men who were with him, they weren't all Christians. Some of them were spiritualists and so forth. He didn't care. He knew who he was.
I noticed that music plays a beautiful part in telling this story and series. Did you have a hand in choosing the music, and what do you think about what we're hearing?
I love the music. I didn't have a hand in choosing the music, but I love the choices. Mahalia Jackson and some of the gospel stars of the 50s that were just so important to my own personal upbringing, because I'm the son of a minister and grew up in the church. So I love the music. I wish there had been more. I wish they could have filled it with but the music was good. The music choices were very good.
What do you think of Ethan Hawke's portrayal of John Brown in this?
My name is John Brown, and I am here to defeat slavery.
This is really his King Lear. I mean, he really, really worked hard at this series, and I think the audiences will see he is a magnificent John Brown. He knows more about John Brown than I do, and I wrote the book. That's the kind of homework he did. He did a magnificent. He's funny, he's deep, he's profound. He understood the man, and he understands why the man's message is important today.
How do you feel about the backdrop of all that's going on in our world, and now this story being released?
My feeling is the story is as relevant now, in fact, more relevant than it was when I first wrote the book. But the thing to remember is that John Brown would be disappointed that we're not paying attention to the fact that the blood has already been spilled. It's over. The war is done now. And the fact is, even though John Brown was a violent man, he really did more with his pen in the last 6 weeks of his life than he ever did with a pistol or a sword or a knife, because he wrote letters to editors and letters to friends before he died while he was waiting to be executed. And those letters had a profound effect.
Mcbride is already an award-winning author, and he may have to make some room on the shelf for another. His Deacon King Kong is up for the Kirkus Prize for Best Fiction. And as he shared in our sit-down, that book is also being adapted for the screen.
Still ahead. He thought God was working with him, so he kept reaching farther and farther until he took over the nation's largest armory, thinking he was going to start a revolution. And he kind of did.
A final word from Ethan Hawke when we come back.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the Sleep Doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Superbook fans, here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man, come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes too, and so much more. Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep.
Welcome back to this Studio 5 special. Music is a sweet spot in Showtime's The Good Lord Bird with Mahalia Jackson and Elvis Presley. It's also a sweet spot here in Studio 5. And this week's soundtrack comes courtesy of the man who gave birth to this story. James Mcbride isn't just an author. He's an incredible jazz musician. And it's James Mcbride and the Good Lord Bird Band's Sinner Man that's playing in my ear.
Sinner man, where you gonna run to? Judgment day, sinner man, where you gonna run to? 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 Judgment day, After a while, it'll all be over. All be over. After a while, the sun will shine. Sun gonna shine. All of my trouble will be over. Judgment Day.
That is James Mcbride, and he can certainly play. With that, we are almost out of time for this Studio 5 special report. So let's take a moment and look ahead and see what's coming up on next week's rundown.
Wrote and recorded Angels to bring awareness to mental health. What triggered that?
Whatever you face is making you break.
So it was actually a scenario where a young person that I know of tried to take their own life last year, and so it threw me into this, I guess, just like pain, and then also just realizing this is how so many other people feel.
We have that and so much more for you come next week. But before we say goodbye this week, we want to give the final word to the executive producer and star of The Good Lord Bird. Here's Ethan Hawke.
These stories keep going over and over and over again. The story of man's inequality to man is ancient. You know, and it doesn't matter what part of the world you go to. You can go to Vietnam, or you can go to Russia, and you can go to India, and you can go, and terrible people have treated each other awfully. You know, Rwanda, I mean, you go everywhere, but the rest of us just keep hurting each other. You know, and so sadly, I think I'm worried this story is always relevant, but it's particularly relevant right now in this country as we feel the flames of division being fanned even more. And what I was moved by this book is it did the opposite of that. It reminded everybody that we're all actually like, have moms and dads and children, and we all want people to like us, and we all want food, we all want, you know, to have friendship and to be cared for and to grow old with grace. I mean, you know, right? We're not very different, really.
That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.